Well, we got our bellies full, our laundry done, and had a great night of sleep, and we're still in Logroño. This is another city that's worth spending a little extra time in. We like to walk shorter legs so that we have time upon our arrival to explore, and if we planned another short walk on the next day, then it gives us more time to see the city before leaving. We did stop at the co-cathedral de Santa María de la Redonda, which is on the Camino, and we did so to see a painting from the 1500s that's behind the main altarpiece. The artist is rumored to be some guy named Michelangelo. Yeah, that's it. Rumored to be Michelangelo. It's a painting of Christ crucified, accompanied by his mother and John and Mary Magdalene. Now, I think that's pretty cool to see a painting possibly painted by the Renaissance man himself. But there is a church a few blocks off of the Camino that bears the name Santiago. So we just have to see that one. And man, I am so glad that we did. This church has some of the strange things that I like to discover. And there was a precious little lady inside that really acted as our guide in showing us a few fun things. The church is called Iglesia de Santiago el Real. The image at the very top is a 17th century Santiago Matamoros. Matamoros is the James that legend says he returned to Spain after his death to help the Spanish defeat the Moors. So Matamoros actually means James the Moor Slayer or the Moor Killer. So you see him on a horse with a sword in his hand whenever they're speaking of the second coming of James, so to speak. And underneath him is Santiago or James as a pilgrim, staff in his hand and Camino shells on his chest. All right, let's go in and see something really super cool. There is some unique artwork that is meant to represent the presence of God, and there are some sculptures that are beautiful to see. So check out all of that. But there are a couple things that, well, they're not that obvious. A sweet little old lady grabbed my wife and motioned for us to go underneath the altar area and the stage. And I wasn't sure if we were about to be imprisoned in some horror movie or if it was going to be the greatest find on the Camino. So we ventured out. Would you have done it? It was a little creepy. So you might need your flashlight if you do it. You can make out in the dark distance a figure on the cross. To the left is Mary, and in Spanish it says, Mysterious Mother. Then, if you dare venture closer to the shadows, you can see the crucified Christ. Now that alone was worth it, but wait until you see what's next. On the left of the sanctuary, from where I'm standing, look at the Jesus statue with Mary to the right. Within the cement, the precious lady told me that you can see the face of Jesus. Can you see him? Sort of etched in the cement? Almost an apparition? I'll impose a picture of Jesus and flash it on and off so that you can see where I'm referring to. So not only are there many great images of James within the retablo and the artwork here, but there are also these mysterious things to see in this church. Such a great find that church is, and that lady, that little lady that showed us.
I turned, after we walked downstairs and came back, I couldn't find her anymore.
She vanished. So maybe she's a church angel.
Maybe.
You need to see this church. There's so many cool things there. Now there's some graffiti I can get behind. Right there. There's also a church in this town dedicated to the Apostle Bartholomew, who was martyred by being skinned alive. It's not very far off the Camino either, and if you like the weird stuff, well, the sculptures on the outside of the church doesn't shy away from the history of this apostle. There are images that show Bartholomew casting out demons and bringing healing to the king's daughter. and images showing converts growing from the result of his evangelism. But they killed him by skinning him alive, so there's also a sculpture of him being flayed alive. And in the next scene, you see him preaching with his skin draped over his shoulder like a shawl. That's one tough apostle, and we complained about our feet hurting. Finally leaving Logroño, there's a lot to do here and some churches that really are not on the Camino that are interesting, so hope you can spend some time there. We instead have a short day today, and that way we could adjust our time to where we don't leave until now, which is noon. The city is busy, but you can find those arrows and those shells. Tell you where to go. We looked for some movie locations in Logroño, but it was very difficult to find. So if you know of some, put the actual coordinates in the comments. We were hoping that was the police station. But it's not. Something amazing in Spain, as soon as you step in that intersection, those cars stop for you. In the United States, you're dead. I was just consulting the app to make sure we were on the right trail, and I said a purist would never use an app. And then my wife said, there's always someone more pure than the purist. Something like that. So no matter how much of a pure pilgrim you are, like, I'd never use an app, I'd never watched videos before, there's someone even more pure than you. Somebody that would do it barefoot or in a wheelchair, as we've seen. I think that's more pure, and only eat food that's given to them instead of buying it. Oh, you could go down this rabbit trail. Purist. I'm always on the search for those yellow arrows. There's one on the ground. Ah, there's another one, and another one. And there's another one. See, watch, they stop for you. Amazing. There's one at an angle. Oh, there's one up there. And one right there. Leaving Logroño is beautiful and like walking through a really long, nice park. It makes for a pleasant experience. I really enjoy the peaceful path out of Logroño. Then you have a little bit of Camino-themed graffiti. Buen Camino! That's how I say it. Altrea. She acts like she doesn't know me. If anyone knows why there is one tall and one short pillar in and outside of Logroño, there's quite a few of them coming in, let me know in the comments. It's beautiful walking alongside of the Grajera Reservoir that was created back in 1883. Soon you will enter what I call the squirrel sirens. Like in Greek mythology, where the sirens lured sailors into the rocks, these squirrels will lure you into the woods and steal all of your time. My two biggest memories about this area from our first Camino is the beautiful and tame red squirrels. One of them even had ears like a rabbit. So this time we made sure that we had a few nuts for them. Also, I remember all the fish, which I assumed were carp, but one book said that they had a lot of black bass in this reservoir, but I still think these are carp. Let me know what you think they are in the comments below. I hope someone says, don't you know those are octopus? They seem to be hoping for food that people might drop off the bridge. After you slightly climb uphill a bit, be sure to look back. You can look back and see Logroño and the reservoir and the path that led you here. There are 2 or 3 places that have these areas in the chain link fence where you can, make a little cross, and one of them is right after this one here when you pass Logroño. So we had a cross that was at our church when we remodeled the church that was up in the light fixtures, and we were throwing away those light fixtures. But I took one of the crosses off of that and put it up here 2 years ago, so I'm anxious to see if it's still here. And here are the crosses. I looked at the GPS locations, and I'm 90% sure it's right at the beginning there. because there was a sign back there that was blue. So if you do see it or know what happened to it, let me know in the comments. You know, St. James knows who took it. He knows who has it. He knows what happened to it. And maybe it's part of that leave no trace. I get it. I would never graffiti. And that cross wasn't biodegradable. But it was just kind of cool to me. So let's not have leave no trace comments and discussions. Let's just leave no trace. Forgive me, please. Forgive me. So I have no idea. Is that breaking the leave no trace rule? If it is, maybe let's discuss it in the comments, but not be ugly. If everybody did it, it would start to look like a church or a fence with a lot of crosses. Now that one's cool because a bird is nesting in it. After the crosses, you might see Santa Claus stamping passports. Santa keeps trying to upstage the cross. Oh my. It was in this area on our very first Camino that we discovered the magic of the altus poncho. When sudden showers hit, our Camino family could slip their ponchos over their backpacks in seconds while we were still wrestling with our full rain gear. Masha, you okay?
Yeah.
I think you need to go to the doctor and have that looked at. After getting drenched one too many times, we finally bought altus ponchos in the next major town. 4 very wet Caminos later, they're still going strong. They're designed to cover both you and your backpack, which is a game changer. This stretch of walk also is when we gained our second Camino family member, the wonderful and amazing Rita from Sweden. She was such a joy to have with us. With her addition, our little Camino crew now had a Swede, 2 Okies, and a Slovenian. Just before you enter Navarrete, on the left-hand side, you'll spot the remains of something truly historic for pilgrims. It's the ruins of the Hospital de San Juan de Arc. Founded in 1185, this medieval hospital served pilgrims all the way through the Middle Ages and well into the 16th century, offering care and shelter on the journey to Santiago. We reached Navarrete with plenty of time for a hot bowl of stew and even the Pilgrim's Mass. Why not? I've always loved how art is woven so deeply into the worship here. It speaks to how important beauty and creativity have been in people's spiritual journeys. And of course, I can't help but smile whenever I spot images of St. James along the Camino or in the churches. And then, only on the Camino, you meet someone whose story connects to yours in the most unexpected way. We ran into Kay here, a pilgrim we'd never met before, but her daughter had hosted us when we were in West Africa 18 years ago. We'd never crossed paths with Kay until now, but that's Camino magic right there. And in the coming weeks, we shall cross paths many times again. Coming up on the next video, you'll get to see the angry side of Gina. We'll visit a cemetery with a remarkable story to tell, and we'll help a pilgrim who's hurting so much they might just end up in that cemetery. So please, on YouTube, hit the like, the subscribe, and the bell icon, and then make a comment. Any kind of comment at all will help YouTube to see my video and to say, hey, other people will be interested in this. And then it will also help motivate me to get these videos finished. Thank you so much for watching and for listening. Actually, whoever has the strangest comment, I will try to weave that into the script of a future video.